everybody, this is Carla Alexandra here. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my page. You know what this is about. This is about women of color in menopause. Yo! I was talking to another woman this morning, be in her early 40s, and her mother just told her that she herself had gone through early menopause, so it might be hereditary. And this, neighbor of mine is like, I think I'm getting ready to start going through it. So I'm assuming she's started exhibiting certain symptoms. But we just started talking further about it, and she says, why is it that more women just don't talk about it? And I says, you know what? I've been asking myself that very same question, which is the reason why I started this channel, to be able to kind of, like I said before, bridge that gap, so that we as a community can come together and start really keeping each other informed so we don't get caught off guard. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest reason why it took me so long to talk about it was because of the fact that I was embarrassed. I wasn't ready to go into menopause. I wasn't mentally ready to face the idea that I have maybe missed my whole chance at making a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? When you have children young, you give up the right to really dream. And I'm not saying that all mothers are the same, that this is what they do. I wasn't raised to have that career mom mentality. That wasn't me. My mother didn't raise us like that, so my sister's like that. I, on the other hand, had a bunch of kids because I'm about, I'm about family. But somewhere down the line, when I started going through menopause, I realized that I was so busy being about family that I completely forgot about me and who I wanted to be before I started having children. And then when the hot flashes started coming so regularly and I realized that people were staring at me, I withdrew because it made me feel even more exposed. I felt even more ashamed. I felt like people were really seeing the fact that I was a complete failure in society and I had nothing to show for it except menopause. And that's how I felt. I didn't want to accept my age. I kind of fell into a time loop, I think, where I was completely surrounded by the kids that I had completely lost track of how old I was. So menopause means, you know what that means? That means weight gain, curlers in the hair, the robes, and it's like, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the image that menopause has kind of been edged in my mind since I was a little girl. I don't want that. I'm not ready for that. So here I am, 49 years old, and I feel like I'm still in my 20s, except when I'm going through menopause. But I try to maintain a healthy diet. I try to stay as young looking as possible. I try to remind myself that, yeah, I am a little older. I am a bit more mature, but I'm still very sexy. I'm still a very much desirable woman. And that was also one of the problems. I don't have a husband. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm a completely single Black woman in her 40s going through menopause. And I spent so much time trying to figure out how to help couples, work through their menopausal issues, because I understand that there's low libido, that I didn't take time to realize that I can't answer the questions that I've been really posting because I don't have a man. I don't know what it's like for a man to have to deal with a woman in menopause. I'm more curious than anything, but that's here nor there. I need to start directing questions for women that are single, which is another thing that I'm ashamed of. I haven't had the best past when it comes to men. I think one of the reasons why I stay to myself is because maybe I've kind of messed up on having love. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being, wife material. I'm okay with being by myself because I understand. I know how karma works. It's not to say that I don't want someone. It's not to say that I am, content with being celibate, because who the hell wants to be content in that? But I've changed so much. And now I'm dealing with all of these new emotions because I have a brand new body. No matter how you look at it, menopause brings you a whole new body. It takes the body you had and it gives you a new one. And I think this one is trying to turn us into men, because I'm not understanding. I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm not understanding why we have to have chin hair. I'm not understanding why we have to sweat as much as we do. I'm not even understanding why we can sweat everywhere except in the one spot where we might need that area to be a little moist at. So I think it's trying to turn us into a man. I don't know. But I'm embarrassed. You know, what man is gonna want to deal with that? You know, and I'm sure there are tons of men out there. I don't know, because I know how much of a hindrance this is for me. So I don't want to put that on anybody else. Everybody has their reasons why they don't talk about their menopause. And I know that nobody wants to talk about it, because like, what is that? That's like up there with, I don't know, boils on the butt. You know what I'm saying? Or ingrown toenails or something weird. A necessary topic only because of how so many women are gonna be at risk for VMS. The VMS symptoms are, VMS is real. VMS is 100% real. And as a woman on the 20% who has very severe symptoms, I can tell you that this threw me completely for a loop. And at first, yeah, I wasn't gonna talk about it. Why would I want to talk about it? You know, why do I want to talk about something that's so embarrassing for me? Why do I want to talk about the one thing that makes people stare at me the way they do when I'm having a hot flash? Why do I want to talk about it? Because nobody else will. Because no matter how many women I talk to, they all ask me the same question: how come more women just don't talk about it? And I keep saying, I don't know. So because we don't know, let's stop asking the question, how come more women don't talk about it? And let's start saying, okay, where can we go to talk about it? You can come right here. This is the channel for it. Because if you are a woman of color going through menopause, you need to take special care of your body. And I'm not saying that you know, other races are not susceptible to it, because I know another woman just like me who's going through severe symptoms just like me, and she's white. So I'm not taking away from anything. What I am saying is that my sisters need to pay close attention to your body. You have to pay close attention to your symptoms, because for some reason, well, we already know why, menopause does affect us differently. And because it affects us differently, we have to take better care of our body. There's a lot of women out here who are going to be in that 20% where their body is just gonna betray them, you know, like constantly, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. You know, even the 60% of women out here will experience one of those types of episodes where you might be, you know, having dinner with somebody, and all of a sudden, here come the waterworks. You know, all of a sudden, you just see heat waves on the sides of your face. You can feel the heat just escaping from the body. It's crazy. It's crazy. If it wasn't so hot, I'd be like, yo, that's the coolest power out. But it wreaks so much havoc. Even if it's just for a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, that build up, oh, it's enough to drive anybody crazy. And I just really don't want more women to feel like they are really by themselves, because it's a very lonely transition. Your kids can't understand it. Your husband's not going to be able to understand it. Anyone younger than you is not going to be able to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And if you have elders and they never talked about it, then what are you gonna do? You know, you insist that they talk about their menopause. I'm pretty sure if they do talk about it, they'll tell you how it was. But they don't talk about it. They haven't talked about it. My grandmother never talked about it. Past, yeah, this was a great experience, or it was a beautiful experience. And I just watched my mother go through it. But my mother never complained about it. She never said a word. So I am not that person. I'm gonna shoot it from the rooftops. I'm gonna let you know. Be prepared. Ask questions. Talk about it with everyone. Let everybody know how you're feeling. You are a woman going through a phase in your life. That doesn't mean that your feelings are any less important. You need to really, really, really start talking about it so that you can find different ways to manage it. The best method that worked for me, that still works for me and will probably work for me for the rest of my life, is really getting those chakras clean. Chakra healing is a necessity if you really want to manage your symptoms, because believe it or not, the menopausal symptoms, a lot of them, yes, they are psychological, emotional, mental. You get stressed out, you might have a hot flash. You know what I'm saying? Like, things can trigger you, and you have to find what these things are, and then you gotta learn to control them. And the only way I was able to do that was through chakra healing. I tried medications, I've tried natural supplements to try to kind of get a hold of the physical symptoms, and I had it all backwards. I had to fix this first. I had to fix this first before I could fix the physical symptoms. There's a lot of shame and embarrassment that comes along with going through menopause, because we all know it's a different phase. We can't have kids anymore. Not to say we want to have kids at this age, but it's a part of who we are, and to have it now no longer be a part of, you know, our life, it's a big deal. You know, for some women it isn't. For me it was. Even though my tubes are tied and everything, it was just an indication of change that I just wasn't emotionally ready for. And it did not matter, because it came full force regardless. So talk about it. You don't want to talk about it with your doctor. If you feel like, you know, you've exhausted all possibilities when it comes to these physicians out here, fine, talk to a community. I'm here. Just talk about it, because it helps a lot when you can find other women who can understand even a little bit about what you're feeling. And it's really, really nice that when I speak to women out here, even though they don't have the same type of symptoms I have, we all relate on the same level regardless, because we all have to go through it and we all feel the same way, you know? So talk about your menopause. This is Carla Alexander here. Thank you for joining La Femme Tour Skincare Presents Women of Color in Menopause. I look forward to the next video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave your questions down in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If it is, you know, video worthy, then we will definitely put the video together. But I'm just saying. Anyway, don't forget also, you guys, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook. I even have a TikTok account where I share my menopausal experiences, you know, on there as well. So you guys, yo, follow me.